Hey, welcome to your Taurus horoscopes for the week of October 29th to November 4th. It's officially Halloween this week. Mm. As well as the beginning of November, which is pretty crazy. We're just trucking along there. We are kicking off the week with the moon. We're actually coming out of a full moon right here at the beginning of the week on Sunday, which is technically the day that I'm recording the videos. This week we're coming out of a full moon, and it was a beautiful one, by the way. I actually was out to be able to see it both days that it was out at different points of the evening, and it really was a big and brilliant one. And you can actually see Jupiter in conjunction with the moon also is right there next to it, so it was really cool to look at for sure. It was definitely your guys's full moon as well, being in Taurus. And so on Sunday, we're sort of coming out of that full moon. Things do get in very intense during full moons, I have to say. And while we're not in opposition with the sun anymore, which is kind of good in terms of the moon action, we are still in opposition with Mars and Mercury as we're coming out of that full moon. So I feel like all of the planets together, I mean, it really probably was a very intense full moon for you guys, which if I had a magic wand to take it away, I totally would. But I am learning more and more recently that our lessons do become pretty intense, and life continues to become pretty intense. And to me, the more intensity I'm getting, the more I'm realizing that jumping up and down and going, why is this happening to me? Because I don't like it, is not helping. And with all of these planets really influencing your home and your career, this is a huge opposition between responsibility and responsibility. And it almost feels like one of those instances where work is piling everything on you, and then you go home and the family is piling everything on you, and you're standing there holding all this stuff, looking around going, does anybody not see that I can't do all of this, that maybe somebody else should do something? You know how it is when you're just, I can't take it anymore. Some of us just live our lives there, don't we? And it's very frustrating. And with the moon's influence, there is probably going to be very emotionally frustrating. But the moon leaves and is leaving on Monday, will be gone and out of there, and that emotional influence will no longer be a problem. What is a problem, though, because the moon will come back and create another challenge at the end of the week as it moves into a square with Jupiter, which is still in opposition with Mars and now the sun as well. And the moon's also square. So this becomes a T square. It's a pretty big challenge, actually. As and it's like bookends, this emotional challenge in the beginning and this emotional challenge at the end. And when do we get a break, right? The moon's focus is on relationships now. Instead of this being a huge problem at home and at work and having to toggle all of the things that you have to do on both sides, somebody else externally comes into this and goes, well, what about me? How come you're not spending time with me? We never spend time together. I feel for you guys, because that is something that comes up for us a lot. And the question we're never asking ourselves is, what about me? Who's taking care of me? And chances are you're not going to be able to find an answer for that, because the truth of the matter is you have to take care of you too. You have to add that to your plate on top of everything else. I'm literally thinking of a Taurus woman right now who the first time I physically met her at a networking thing, she had a picture of this Zen woman who had 8 arms, and each arm was holding up something different that she had to do. It was like a typical housewife. The laundry, the cooking, the mending, the everything, the cleaning, everything. But it's broadened now for us. Now we have the career, we have responsibilities to other people. We all have a whole bunch of things going on, and it's very difficult to hold all that stuff up. And even on her Zen woman with the 8 arms, the one thing that was missing was herself and self-care and adding time to that. It happens over and over and over again. And I feel like you Tauruses are really having this lesson drummed into you on both ends of the week, because it's necessary to put the responsibility to yourself above everybody else. It is absolutely necessary to do this, because nobody can keep the 8 arm Zen lady going for too long without doing that. And a lot of times we fall into this emotional space where we're just hoping that somebody will see us and give us a hand. And occasionally that happens. And because occasionally it happens, we get like addicted to it and expect it to keep happening over and over again. And it's a very unhealthy pattern. Really, honestly, you never want to put yourself in the position to where you are going to fail unless somebody steps in to help you. You always have to have control of that as much as you possibly can. That way, the help is only necessary when it's only necessary. Hopefully, that makes sense. You can't be the 8 arm Zen woman without self-care. That's what it comes down to. As far as what else is going on in the world of astrology, we have actually a grand trine all week long. And on Thursday, Wednesday, what day is this here? We're looking here. I think maybe it's Friday. On Friday, we actually have 2 grand trines, one earth and one water. Those 2 elements work so beautifully together, and it's like one on top of the other one, and all the little lines working things in the middle in terms of challenges and planets coming together to help each other. It looks like a star. And I really felt compelled to tell you guys this specifically because with all of these challenges in the middle of all of the crap that's going on, beautiful magical things happen. And you have to be aware, not caught up in your frustration over the situation, but aware, so that you can see it, because sometimes these things just sort of happen and then we didn't even notice that it happened, if that makes sense. The moon moves into a grand trine, a water grand trine, but Uranus is in a grand trine all week long with Venus and Pluto. Venus's focus is very much on long-term financial goals. Pluto's focus is on self, reminding you of your responsibilities to you first. You can't take care of any of this other stuff if you don't take care of you first. That's always the lesson, always the lesson. Uranus is focused on the home as well. So even though the home is very much a part of this big challenge going on and off this week, it's also your sacred place. And I feel like these planets are coming together to help remind you to create that sacred space, that place where you can go, where you can feel that ultimate security, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day. It doesn't take a lot. Yes, there are weeks where I always try to take at least one day where I don't get out of my pajamas. I don't have any energy. I'm just here. I don't make any plans. I don't do anything. I just get in my little cave and I hide there, because this is what my energy needs to do. Every so often, I have to take 2 days, but most of the time It's a few minutes here, it's a few minutes there. It's on and off throughout the day. It's not just once a day, it's on and off throughout the day, just to ground and bubble and center and bring myself back to where I need to be productive and successful. So that's what I have for you guys this week. This is probably a really long one this week, but there's a lot of stuff going on also this week, which makes it a lot to go over. As far as challenges go, this too shall pass. There's a lot of planets, 3 planets in opposition of Taurus right now. And so that is a lot. And that's going to continue for the next week or so. And then things are going to start to calm down as these planets move out. In fact, to be honest with you, Mercury's probably going to be out of it by the end of next week. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and then things won't be quite so crowded and crazy. But just wait, because they're all moving to Aquarius, where it's going to cause a problem again in a few months. That's just what happens. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending me a tip or a donation through my coffee link, ko-fi.com/heavy metal psychic, or you can click the link in the description of this video. I would really appreciate that. I always enjoy getting my coffees. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. In the meantime, have a very happy and safe Halloween. And no matter how challenging the challenges are, always remember you are bigger than any challenge. There's never a challenge too big for a Taurus to tackle. You guys are awesome and you can do this. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week.